Hi guys, welcome to episode number 9 on the Live the Life You Love podcast. I'm your host and VIP coach, Yoshua, and you can also find me on YouTube on my channel, Yoshuabenchristus, where it's all about unconditional love. So in this episode, I'm gonna read out from the living book of Mariam, www.puramariam.de. Thank you from the heart for your great work, Mariam. So in this episode, it's all about the formative power fields of darkness. In the movie Lord of the Rings, an elf, having been asked about a possible cooperation with a human in the fight against darkness, answered, "Humans are easily seduced." And I knew that was true. This answer stuck in my mind, and I asked myself why man can easily be seduced much easier than other beings. First of all, they have forgotten unconditional love. That is the most important reason. But why is it so hard for them to change their minds and their habits? Why are they desperately sticking to the familiar ways? I was given the answer on late Easter Monday 2002. While working with the computer, I was guided by God without knowing it at first. All of a sudden, I felt a heavy pressure in my solar plexus and started giving my love to it. While the heavy energies left me, I asked them who or what they are. All beings have to answer when asked directly. They were not actually beings, but more or less expanded energy fields, which somehow were alive, but all of them were heavy, strong, sticky, and most of all, black, lightless. I did not get a direct answer, rather an impression of subjects and names. But now I distinctly recognized the feelings that were connected with those energies, and I wrote them down as they left me, as well as the parts of my body they were coming from. Indolence of being, of behaving, leaving the solar plexus chakra. Indolence of thinking from the third eye. Indolence of feeling from the heart chakra. Changeability that prevents steadiness and straightness from the third eye. Heaviness keeps down tightly in the material matter everywhere. Tenacity prevents letting go of the old everywhere, especially in the head. Smallness makes us feel small and keeps us small in the head. Narrowness lets us make ourselves narrow, leaving me from head and heart chakra. Darkness darkens the way we experience the world, leaving behind the eyes. Ducking makes us keep our head down to the earth from the head. Restriction prevents us to unfold, leaving from the head. Blackness switches our inner light off, leaving from the third eye. Forgetting prevents precise memory from the back lower brain. Rose-colored spectacles of false sweetish pink gives us false harmony and contentment and prevents a clear outlook, leaving from the brain. Stinging poison poisons our perception, makes us think of other people as incapable, bad and evil, as our enemies who want to harm us, to take things away from us, makes us despise others, leaving from the brain and heart. Acid makes other people and situations seem ridiculous to us, makes us laugh about others. Hardness furthers overreactions, revenge and retaliation, leaving from brain and heart. A heavy black being, somehow like a clinging gravity field, furthers holding on tightly to something, set on the sphincter. A power field of white and the sense of uncertainty, lack of setting limits, lack of orientation. A power field of sponginess, lack of sharpness and judgment, clear view, leaving from eyes and head. A power field of uncertainty, insecurity, of being at somebody's mercy, hopelessness, furthers lack of trusting, leaving from the heart chakra in front and back. A power field that gives us false security, leaving from heart chakra as before. A power field of panic that makes us get out of bounds, lose control of ourselves, get panicky, become blind with rage, get hot-tempered, back and middle brain, and leaving also from the liver. A power field embarrassment that makes us watch ourselves, makes us think that everybody is looking at us, behind the eyes and upper brain. Strong energy field in the mouth that furthers senseless input and output, to misuse the mouth as a replacement. To little children, it means sucking the thumb, to open the mouth without substance, without having anything meaningful to say, just empty words, exaggerations, stuffing the mouth. An energy field of ugliness and dirt that makes us feel dirty and ugly, leaving from head and solar plexus. An energy field of deep sadness that gives us the feeling of the uselessness of all our doing and wanting, of the senselessness of life itself, leaving behind the eyes, at the root of the nose, throat and heart chakra. An energy field of distance that prevents deep friendship and nearness of heart, that prevents that we wholly trust another person, or that we open ourselves to another person in unlimited faith, sitting behind the eyes and in the solar plexus chakra. A very strong power field, tough, aching, sticky, that makes us hang on to others, that furthest false love, that makes us create and keep binding ties and dependency. Eyes and brain, heart, solar plexus, sexual and basic chakra. A stinging power field that makes us detect people or situations, and at the same time we are unable to articulate this, so it makes us turn away from a problem instead to confront and solve it. So this field furthers frustration and anger, thus causing us to catch a cold, rear and upper head, including the nose. A power field that makes us not wanting to hear, to turn away from problems and reality instead of confronting them and learning from them. Upper brain and ears. Power field that makes us feel to be at a disadvantage and discriminated, like always others, never me, in the solar plexus chakra. A power field that makes us resist at all costs, no matter what, stubbornness, the solar plexus chakra and at the side of the back. A power field with a drawing pain that furthers pity and self-pity, that is false suffering, the heart chakra and solar plexus chakra. A power field that makes us burden ourselves, distract ourselves, spread our own power aimlessly, upper head and shoulders. An aching power field that makes us feel guilty and worth punishing, and makes us look for punishment in the solar plexus chakra and upper heart chakra. A power field that lets us see nothing but darkness around us, behind the eyes. A power field that makes us speechless. It closes the throat, makes us silent when we should talk, Instead, we do not dare to speak. In the head, throat, thyroid, a power field that makes us be aggressive to others, flippant, contradicting no matter what, always having the last word, aggressive acid from the solar plexus chakra. A power field that furthers hitting blindly around yourself, being against everything, biting aggressiveness from the solar plexus chakra, slanting to the left, through the body to the back, and also the space inside the head, underneath the eyes. A power field that gives you the feeling of absolute depth, cutting off your breath, making you think you do not deserve the air you breathe. In the rear head and under the ribs, to the left and right side, also a little sideways under the ears. A power field that gives you the feeling of absolute helplessness, of being helplessly at somebody's mercy, back of the head, neck, inside of the ears. A power field that makes you gasp for air, letting you helplessly drown in a sea of feelings, solar plexus chakra, underneath the stomach. A power field that gives you the feeling to be helplessly at somebody's mercy, with your hands tied in the left kidney and heart chakra. A power field, rather a black field of rage that gives you the feeling to float utterly helpless in a sea of horror. The solar plexus and sexual chakra, left nasal cavity. A power field that makes you want to scream and at the same time be unable to. Silent horror, cavity of the mouth, throat, and throat chakra. These power fields of complete helplessness could possibly have come from 3 short incarnations I had between 1933 and 1943, when I was paying off karmic debts by dying of misuse, but some of the fields may even have come from my present incarnation, from my early childhood, and my thoughts went back. As long as I can remember, I had a terrible fear of ghosts, of red glowing eyes. To me, they were the essence of horror, and before going to bed, I used to look under it with shivering fear, to make sure that nothing was there. But it was not until the age of 53 that I could ask an angel to lead me to the roots of this fear. And in a short vision, this prayer was instantly granted. was the air raid shelter in Berlin at the time of my birth or shortly after. When the war was over, I was but 1.5 years old. In this vision, I saw myself being carried through the tight, narrow, cornered ways of the basement shelter underneath the apartment house we lived in the arm of the angel. Never again had I been there. They had been locked since then, but I knew instantly what it was. We were passing these ways, turning left and turning right, over and over again. They were full of black beings with large eyes, glowing red, and I knew they were creatures of fear, created by the thoughts and fears of all those people who were frightened to death during those nights of continuous air raids. And I, being a very young baby, was able to see them. We were turning around the numerous corners, and each time we did so, those beings were jumping up right in front of me, scaring me fiercely, and so I told the angel. And he asked me, why are they doing that? And I suddenly knew they were trying to catch my attention, and I told the angel so. Why would they want your attention? He asked. And at the same time I knew they wanted to be loved, and I told the angel so. Love them, he said, and so I did. At first just a little, then stronger and stronger, and then I saw those beings became lighter and lighter until they became transparent and slowly faded away. And at that moment my fear had left me. I must have been an absolute horror then. That is how little babies perceive reality, because their perception is still very pure. How horrible it must be for them to experience such fear without being able to articulate it. They can only cry. And my mother, probably out of her mind with fear at the time, having to care for her 2 children, an old and helpless mother and her own helpless sister, just thought I was tired and cranky. Maybe that was why I wanted to leave this incarnation at the age of 1, which I almost achieved by some kind of infection, when at my first birthday I weighed less than when I was born. Today I believe that the friends of light may have lovingly persuaded me to stay. During that vision, I had suddenly known that those beings were not only in the shelter, but also in the stairways and along the sides of the long corridor in our apartment on the 3rd floor. Those stairs, as well as the hallway, had been frightful places during my childhood. I used to rush up the stairs when it was dark outside, just to avoid that the lights went out before I was upstairs, always thinking that I was being followed. And until I was married, my mother had to accompany me to the toilet door in that corridor, and she waited for me to take me back again. I instinctively had been sensing the presence of something, but no one was able to tell me then to love instead of fear, because no one knew about it. Now came a power field that furthers boundless fury, throwing out words of hatred and rage in the upper brain, root of the tongue, basic stomach, solar plexus chakra. A stinging field of rage, furthering, wanting to manipulate others with a sinister purpose, in the middle of the back, to the left of the rear solar plexus chakra. A similar power field that lets you misuse your mental capacities to slander other people and make them small for your own profit and for the fun of others. Sitting within the third eye, left nasal cavity, an aching power field of pure black hatred that furthers misuse of mental powers to destroy others for your own profit. In the third eye, a little lower, with an aching connection to the heart chakra and solar plexus chakra. A stinging, aching power field that furthers hatred for God, diaphragm, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, behind the nasal cavity. A very awful power field furthering misuse of the word in the rear head, belly, rear throat. An energy field not less awful, furthering taking love away from myself in the solar plexus chakra, belly, and heart chakra. An energy field with the following aim: flight into nothingness within the head and at the base of the stomach, the solar plexus chakra. And an energy field with the aim: I hate myself and life, in the inner throat near the spine. So this was the first part of episode number 9 about the formative power fields of darkness. Hope you will listen to the second part also, and I say bye bye and ciao ciao, and live the life you love.